What is up, everyone? Sorry for the delay tonight. As you can see, anything and everything that can go wrong is going wrong tonight, but we are here. We are rolling. What is up, Wes?
What's going on?
And what is up, Bradley? What is going on with your camera, Brad?
Brad, you look like you're... I can't even explain it.
Like half your screen's blocked off.
Yeah. Can you even hear us?
I don't know. Brad? Nope.
Okay.
I guess so. Josh is going to be joining us here in a couple minutes. He had some family stuff to take care of. And we ended up there. It was a chaotic night. We ended up getting stuck in a wreck on the way home after we got hit as well. So, yeah, chaotic day. But we're here. Chaotic day in football as well. And might as well go ahead and get into that. I'd say we just start with the obvious, what's already been, most people are already going to know.
Right.
But Bill Belichick in at UNC.
I mean, okay, so I'm a Patriots fan. I mean, right now I know we're terrible, but it's just still so unreal to me. Like, it's just, if you would have told me 10 years ago, like, hey, he's going to win all, he's going to be done with the NFL, and then he's going to go coach at North Carolina, I would have just laughed in your face. I'm sure almost everybody would have. It's just, I can't believe it, man. I just don't really know what to think.
It's so I'm also a Patriots fan, and that's one thing that it's the strangest thing to me because, I mean, pretty much exactly like what you said. We can see you, Brad. I don't know what's going on. He said he can't see us. But it's the strangest thing because you take, an NFL level coach that has won at literally, I mean, realistically, the highest level possible, and you place him into, I don't want to say a low end program, but like a program that is not synonymous with college football.
Do you think this Bill Belichick hire was like a publicity stunt gone wrong or something? Like, it's just because, I mean, I know almost every program named the head coach was really wanting John Summerall. And, of course, he had a conference championship, going on. And I guess I don't know if they were using that for leverage or what. And, of course, Summerall backed out.
So the Summerall, from my understanding, they just offered him a ridiculously low end offer on the financial side.
Isn't it crazy that his first year was $10 million buyout, then the next it's $1 million? Like, why didn't we do that for Kenny Payne? Like, please explain to me.
He wouldn't have come here. But that's a whole different story. But as far as Summerall, from my understanding, it was just they were so far away on the just the money side of it. Yeah. And that was what I took from that. As when we put out, when we had talked to some UNC people way before that even became like big news, that was one thing that they were sure it was going to happen. They were like, the program is going to do whatever it takes to get John there.
Right.
And then for it to kind of play out like it did is really weird because I feel like,
because they were very confident that they were getting him. I mean, they were
extremely, and it drug on for over a week.
Mm.
From when we first had discussions with people around that program. So it was very strange to see this deal because let me see if I can pull it up, but it was like $20 million investment into the program, into like football program alone. It what was it?
That was the NIL part of it, the 20 million.
The 20 million.
But what I don't understand, like, what was the number Summerall wanted? Like, because I mean they're committing $10 million a year to.
Well, the thing is, Summerall, he really loves it at Tulane. Like, he wasn't hurting to leave. So
Right.
I'm going to guess that, if you wanted him there, you're going to have to definitely be in the ballpark of this and this. Because, I mean, dude, almost every program in the country that needed a head coach was calling this guy. And I don't blame him. He's a fantastic coach.
From everyone that I talked to, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're cool. I was just saying, man, I just don't think UNC was very serious of, really trying to get him there is all I'm saying. Like,
it's so weird because working this contract, you're putting yourself in a much more precarious spot because, you're in the contract, like you're having to dedicate more money to the football program. You're having to, and in a world where you're already having to come up with $22 million to dedicate to sports in general. And then you're also having to put yourself in spots that, like, I don't know as an AD if I would be comfortable in, like his son essentially being like that's supposedly in the contract, being next in line.
Yeah. Like next in line. Yeah. Coach and waiting.
Yeah. So really interesting on that. Here's his contract. This is what I've been looking for. I'd seen it earlier, and
man, like just the bonuses alone on how many wins, and if he makes, this bowl or like this play, a playoff win this game or whatever. I mean, it's almost over half the page, just on wins and how much he wins. It's insane.
So it's $1 million base salary plus $9 million in supplemental income.
Mm-hmm.
The first 3 years are of base salary and supplemental income. Something's cut off, and income in contract years 4 and 5 are not guaranteed. And then he gets a bunch of bonuses, based off wins and performance, conference championships, blah, 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 the normal.
I don't.
Especially what Bill wanted, he got.
Yeah, I mean,
he got everything, everything he wanted.
But I haven't seen anything official about his son. Like, I haven't.
That's what I'm looking through the contract for.
Yeah, well, I don't know how you can commit to that though. Like, if you're North Carolina, like
his son was the defensive coordinator at Washington, the team we're about to play. So is he going to be the DC in the bowl game, or is he like sayonara?
I mean, he's welcome to be sayonara.
Yeah,
I mean, it shouldn't matter either way, but
he's gonna be needed to start recruiting. That's the real world of college coaching now. Like, if you take a job, you have to go start recruiting day one.
Yeah, absolutely.
You look at Pat Kelsey. Pat Kelsey was recruiting before he signed his contract.
Yep.
I don't.
Did you guys see who he hired for the GM?
Yeah,
that was another thing.
Great hire.
I mean, hey, I will say this: he's not playing around, dude. He's not. He's trying to get back into the league, in my opinion.
How much money? Chris asked, how much money is NC putting out for coaches and general manager plus everything that goes with it? That's kind of where I'm at. Like, I feel like they're going to be spending more working this contract with Bill versus if they would have taken the Summerall contract.
But my other question is, how much further is this going to drive basketball down now since they got Bill Belichick? Like,
so that's.
You know what I'm saying? How much is their basketball going to suffer?
That's a thing that we actually are going to be doing a show on after football season's over, because just like with the way TV contracts are structured, with the way money is made. Majority of your money comes from football. I don't care what school you're at. Majority of your money and income comes from football. So I think you're going to start seeing a lot of schools that prioritize football and might pull the reins back on basketball a little bit.
Yeah.
I think, do I think that's right or wrong? That's not for me to decide, but I think a lot of programs that are historic basketball programs, I think you're going to start seeing some ruffling of feathers.
Well, it's a business.
It is a business, and I lead to that because, like I said, there's going to have to be, you're having to automatically put $22 million into your athletes now, for paying them from the revenue sharing. So that money's got to come from somewhere. They've already started talking. There's already been schools that are already not officially yet, but already talking about cutting lower level programs. Not revenue generating programs. So it's going to be really interesting. This next year of college athletics, like I don't think we're going to have dead time even in the off season because there's going to be so much change to college athletics. But welcome in, Josh. It's good to see you.
So my wife asked me a really interesting question about Bill Belichick just now, and I wanted your all's opinion on it. Do you think that he took the job so his girlfriend could get free tuition?
That's funny.
Since he'll be a university employee.
That's funny.
The funny thing is whenever, that they were interviewing him and all that stuff, I mean, she's already following like the school and all that stuff on her Instagram. So it basically gave it away.
I mean, yeah. Like,
did y'all see the comment Lee
the
left?
sorority row comment?
Yeah.
That's funny stuff.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Josh, what's your take on Bill? And then we'll move on to.
So we kind of talked about it on Tuesday night. I don't think it's going to work personally. If you want my honest to God opinion, it's a 5-year contract. I would be shocked if Bill Belichick coaches more than 2 or 3 years at UNC.
You think he gets back in the NFL? You think he's done?
I agree.
Like, I don't see it. I mean, I think it's very smart for UNC to finally prioritize football, if you want my honest to God opinion. But I don't know. I don't know if this is the right way of doing it. Kind of like what we talked about. If you wanted to do one of these splash hires, I think there's a lot better candidate list that you could do this with. It's exciting for the ACC because it's going to bring more eyes on the product overall. But at the same time, it seems like a PR stunt.
How do you feel about the Michael Lombardi hire for GM?
I think that's smart.
It is, man.
Yeah, like, I think that part's awesome. Like everything, I think everything surrounding the Bill Belichick hire is really forward thinking, except for Bill Belichick.
See, and that's why I think it'll work because, like, I'm a firm believer, and I believe this in 90% of things, whether they be business, where with the CEO, or politics, or whatever. If you surround yourself by people that know what they're doing and can do their job effectively, I think you can be successful.
Well, the thing is with Bill Belichick, fantastic coach, the best that's ever done it. But when it came to his GM duties with the New England Patriots, awful, very bad.
Yeah, that's what concerns me. I don't understand how a guy wants to go from NFL coaching to the personnel there to what we're doing in college athletics.
And that's my thing is like there is a huge difference between coaching grown men and 18 to 24-year-olds. I mean, it's a big difference. And it's like any job. Even if it's the same, industry, when you go to a new place, it's different. I mean, if you have a different role, it takes time. And I think the Bill Belichick tenure at North Carolina will, depending on how they attack the portal, I think we will get a good sense early on. I mean, depending on how they attack the portal this session, which they're already behind the 8 ball, but they depending on how they attack that, I think we'll get a kind of a sense early on how this is going to go.
So my biggest thing, and I've seen all the financial investments into football from the university in his contract. I want to see what the NIL side of that looks like, and we'll never know that answer.
Well, I don't know how factual this is, but it has been put out by a lot of people that it's in that $20 million realm.
For Nil,
Which, yeah, $20 million. I mean, that's
very respectable.
It is. I mean,
extremely respectable.
Yeah, I mean, I saw it on X from a couple of North Carolina beat writers that it's in that realm of that $20 million range. So, but then again, I think you have to, as any Power 4 program, I think that needs to be a baseline moving forward. Is that dollar range? It's just we've seen. You look at the schools in the playoff. You go through their rosters. It's around that. I mean.
Well, yeah. So a thing that has always stuck out to me since we had the interview with Danny Furman, essentially what you're seeing from a lot of these NILs, collectives, and especially like these like GM roles, is when you look at a football team, it's more so now the line of thinking is, okay, I'm looking at $13 million versus $5 million instead of players. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah.
I don't want to spend too much time on coaching, but I feel like if we're going to talk about Bill Belichick, and that made sense because they, the ACC ties, but we've got to talk about Rich Rod going back to West Virginia.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we don't have to spend too much time on it, but it as soon as like that, I finally seen that was like official. The only thing, and to this day or to this moment, the only thing I can think about is it harkens back to us and Bobby 2.0.
That's all I can think about. It's all I can think about.
I feel like it's a little different.
I don't know much about that job. But all I could think about was how it ended with Bobby.
Well, let me preface this. Like Bobby 1.0, he left on his own volition. So like, yeah, it's different in that term. I guess more or less you're bringing in a coach that has had off the field distractions, we'll say. Scandals.
So,
yeah. And you're bringing him back home. And that's kind of where it's like, I guess, hiring a new coach, I guess where I'm seeing the similarities is they're at a fork in the road. They can either go hire another coach and roll the dice, or they can go back to something they're comfortable with.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's a lot of like what we did. And I feel like they're doing similar. Do I think he can win there? Absolutely.
I think so.
I mean, he's proven he wins pretty much everywhere he goes. Even at Michigan, he gets so much shit for Michigan, but if you actually look into Michigan, he literally progressed every single year he was at Michigan.
The reason I think it's a little different is Coach Petrino walked into a very, very good situation at Louisville. Like a pre-established, very, very good situation. I don't know if Rich Rod is doing that at West Virginia. Because everything that we always hear on the NIL front with West Virginia is they're behind the 8 ball constantly on changes.
The one thing, and just to play devil's advocate with that, when Bobby came back, he didn't have NIL at all. And so I think even the ability to have NIL at all, West Virginia, granted they don't have the best NIL, but having any at all, I think it makes it a little bit more feasible. Like,
do you think that was another big reason for bringing Rich Rod, is to bring in money?
Boosters.
People in West Virginia loved him.
If you're going to do that, why not bring in Jimbo?
I think that goes to that familiarity, though. Like, the boosters love him. He has boosters. I mean, he's been all over the country now. He's been out west. He's been, like, everywhere. Literally, people love him. Yeah. Like, you talk to Arizona fans, they still love him.
If that's true, by the way, the Yeti comment, that's awesome.
That will be
that's awesome. That's awesome.
I don't think it'd be that high.
That number seems a little high, but that's awesome.
If you could get 20 million,
20 I could believe.
If you could get half that,
they'll have a great team.
Yeah.
I personally, just on the coaching aspect of it, I think you're bumping up majorly bringing in Rich Rod.
Did you see his "Take Me Home" tweet?
Yeah,
I did.
I mean,
Full tier.
just
Yeah,
as like a nostalgia standpoint, like early 2000s Big East football, like it was awesome, and I do hope West Virginia is good. Like it would
Same
be
in
cool to
basketball.
see. Yeah, I mean it would be cool to see Rich Rod succeed there because let's be honest, the Big 12 he can go in and win right away. I mean you got. You can easily go in year one and finish in the top 4 in that conference. If you look at their schedule, which I did earlier, if they do well this portal cycle, they could very easily win 9 or 10 games next year. Like the Big 12 is so wide open.
I just saw that
Pull up
comment.
the Jameson. He said donors are pledging 25 to 30 million NIL funds. If that is 100% fact, dude, Rich Rod is in great shape.
If they're
Pat McAfee, that's a big one right there.
yeah,
Having
so
support of Pat.
Yeah, right.
so we always hear everything we hear about NIL funds is always exuberant. It's not true.
Yeah, absolutely.
If they put 25 to 30 million dollars on a field, they would probably be like 1 or 2 spending wise in the country.
Yeah,
that's why I think that's a little fantastical. But I'm sure if they're putting like legitimate money, absolutely, yeah.
And the thing with that, when say a program they get 30 mil, there's a very good chance that not all of that's going to be allocated to one season.
Right.
Well.
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
Because like it doesn't feasibly make sense to spend $30 million on a bunch of seniors and then have nothing for the future of your program. You've seen that time and time again. I'm fairly certain. I don't know for sure. But I believe the Circle does. I don't know what they base that off of and what percentages, but I believe they essentially kind of keep just a war chest, I guess you could call it. And then we don't have to, unless you guys got anything about Rich Rod, we don't have to spend all night on him either.
No, I wish him the best of luck.
Well, it's just 2 interesting topics. I mean, that's a big deal. I mean, Bill Belichick, but because of us, our age range, Rich Rod, we knew who Rich Rod was.
Oh yeah.
So I think it's awesome. So I think,
and then really quick because I also think it was a great hire and I don't want to skip over it. Mullen to UNLV.
Awesome hire.
Yes.
Awesome hire. I think
that's pretty fresh. So I guess we didn't really have much to think on that. But yeah, like somebody, I think it was Brad. Brad was like, "Damn, Mullen's going to UNLV," and they haven't really said it was official yet, but it did this morning. Yeah. So I think that's a fantastic hire too.
I do too. I think he's one of the coaches that he kind of has always gotten the short end of the stick. Like when he was at Mississippi State, he won. Levels that Mississippi State doesn't win, and then went to Florida, and I'm trying to remember correctly, but pretty much got screwed over.
Yeah, he had the SEC championship appearance, and the next year was a down year, and they
just told him to go kick rocks. Yeah, it was messed up
because he was and it was like mid-season, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm just sad that we're gonna miss now the Dan Mullins subtweeting Florida football constantly, because that was my favorite part about the season.
It's true. But all right, off of coaching, I don't think there's any other coaching to discuss. But off of that, let's get into some portal. We have guys on campus. We have some things shaking and brewing.
We did have a commit within the last 2 hours.
We did. Do you guys want to talk departure or commit first?
Let's go good news first.
Let's go good news. Yeah.
Good news.
So break it out.
There's been before we today, I feel like there's been a lot of intensity across the Twitter platforms today.
Standing on your toes, yeah.
There's been a lot of that. So it was good that we got the commit tonight. I think it could kind of settle things down a little, but
I think another one's coming tonight, by the way.
Yeah. That's what it's pointing to. So it could happen any minute. I mean, I feel like we've all been kind of waiting on the second of what we've heard earlier to happen. So, I mean, it's the start. We said Tuesday that this weekend could be a very, very good weekend, and it's looking like the it's starting to trend that direction.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I don't want to like, I wouldn't put all my chips in on this, but I genuinely think that Thomas can be a difference maker in the future at Louisville. He played really well there, but the biggest thing with him is him being a sophomore, going into being a junior. It's not a 1 year guy.
That's what I really like about it. Seems like that Coach Brom and staff are trying to go after younger players in the portal, and that's one of the things I've been asking for. Is like I understand like plug a hole here and there with a senior or fifth year senior, but I really wanted like some freshmen, sophomores. So I'm glad that we're really going after the younger guys.
Yeah, so I think you're looking at your Antonio Watts replacement. Is the best way I can put it. They have very similar. They have very similar game. Him and Darius Thomas do. Thomas is a little bit younger, obviously. I like the pickup. I think it's a good long-term play, and it just adds more depth to a very important, arguably the most important position on the defense.
And let's make it clear, Antonio Watts is not going anywhere, but
yes.
He is going into his final year. So
they got him locked down.
Yeah, we're not starting any false rumors.
He's kind of confused me there for a minute, man.
So
he's not going nowhere, guys.
No, he's not going anywhere. But I think like this is a guy that you can bring into the system this year, develop him, get some very valuable reps, and then the year after, you got your starter.
Yeah, and I think being this year, this coming season, you've got opportunity for him to get some reps during the season. But the big thing with that playing role,
Watts is not leaving.
Yeah, he's not leaving.
Watts is not leaving.
Josh was talking, down the road.
The future.
Graduation leaving.
He just didn't put it
to the
properly.
NFL. Then
yes.
Yeah. But
you got people scared, Josh. Way to go.
It's all right, dude. I called someone a fullback yesterday or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
we're just gonna take it out.
Got it from Jody.
Yeah, we're gonna take it out of context no matter what.
Stole it. But I think that kind of with you guys, like my biggest thing is you're getting somebody in and you're giving them a year to learn the system. I think I'm not going to say that was directly, played into some issues this year, but I think that whenever you bring a high amount of people, especially on the defense, because you get so complex with defenses, the way that we run it, given that year to actually truly learn, can pay dividends.
So what I really like about this, by the way, so we've seen all the arguments about high school recruiting versus portal recruiting and the whole thing. What I see with this is this kind of supplements your high school recruiting a little bit. Taking these kind of guys that you can really lean into your system. You don't get the full 4 or 5 year experience with them. But you get more than enough time where they're actually valuable in your program. Like, I like the pickup a lot, and I think
I feel like it's more of a. Go ahead, sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say the kid has awesome film.
Yeah, I feel like it's almost more of a, instead of a win right now, it's more of like a program development ad, with a guy that need be, he could play right now still. I don't question his ability to play. Like I said, he had phenomenal numbers. Pull back up, 30 solo tackles, 54 total, 4 sacks, and 1 forced fumble that he recovered. That's pretty good numbers, and I'm pretty confident saying that at any level.
Yeah.
And the thing, this is a West Kentucky team that just competed in their conference championship too. So
yeah.
So
I've watched limited film on him, and I will say, dude is quick and he knows how to hit. That dude can hit, and he has a nose for the ball. Like that's something we need. So I don't really know much about the kid. I know he played at Western or whatever, but I watched just a limited film before we jumped on. I think it's a huge pickup.
Where's he from? Oh, so he's from Miramar. I was trying to figure out where he was originally from. So Panhandle kid.
Nice.
Yep. Played quite a bit as a freshman too. Just realized. I just looked at his freshman stats for the first time. So I mean, enough to get 9 total, 6 solo.
The number that jumped out to
and
me
the
was the
interception.
sacks, like 4 sacks. I mean,
4
that's
sacks is nice.
pretty good.
So I have not got to watch video on him. What kind of position did he kind of fill there, or guys?
It was more like that rotating outside linebacker playing deep.
Okay.
So like very similar to a star.
Playing deep.
Yeah, very similar to a star in a 4-2-5. I think Western actually runs a 4-3, but don't quote me on that. But
I was just
it's
curious with the 4 sacks. That's why when you said deep, I was like, interesting.
Well, like an outside linebacker that plays a little deeper.
Yeah, that can play deeper, but can still blitz.
Yeah.
So
it's very similar to our system, just a little different here and there. But you guys want to talk about deflections?
let's do it.
Let's do it.
Wait, well, transfer portal deflections or opt outs? Because we've officially had some opt outs. We kind of,
Which was expected. It was
expected. We've talked about it. We talked about it in the Discord. We've talked about it in our group chats. We personally don't like to put out, that's not our place to, make statements for individuals whenever it's concerning that stuff, because at the same time, there could be a change of heart. You've seen guys where, they're going to the NFL, but all of a sudden they come out and they're like, no, one last rodeo. Not gonna lie, I was really on that bandwagon hoping that Shuck pulled that, especially as long as he's been in college.
Well,
and this is his only real full year. So
well, I just figured because Brom gave Shuck a really big chance, like to really help him, like with, with his draft stock, game film and all that stuff. And Brom really helped him this season, actually finished a whole season without getting hurt. So I feel like he should at least give Brom that. Like, I understand him not playing. I'm not mad about it by any means. Kind of like, well, I appreciate you taking a chance on me. I'll play the bowl game. But I see both sides of the fence, though. I'm not like, mad that he's not playing or mad,
I guess.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing that like the that fans need to understand, because we brought this up many times with the NIL, like majority of the time they're coming here with the, Josh has brought this up. They're coming here with the program and sole understanding that unless they're going to the playoffs, they're not going to play. Like Josh has brought that up multiple times to us. And it makes sense. I mean, that's like we said earlier, this is a business. So, but it's a business where you're putting your body on the line.
And for the sake of the program, like, just my opinion, like I don't care that they're opting out. Like they did what they came here to do during the regular season. Go get paid more. I mean, it's just I want to.
They have the Senior Bowls too, so
right. I want to see what we have for next year and moving forward. I would much rather be happier than in having, one of your underclassmen play quarterback, and as fans we learn who they are, than playing, Tyler in a meaningless bowl game, because that's what it is. I mean, Tyler's going to get ready for the draft. Go get ready. I want to see what Pierce has. I want to see what maybe Deuce has. Like I want to see that more than I want to see Tyler.
Max. He's on the Deuce train.
Yeah, like I want to see one of those guys, because it's not going to affect the eligibility. It's, show me what you got. Like, I want to know. Like, we've been waiting for 2 years for Pierce to get the opportunity. If he does get it, I want to see it.
So I just scrolled across this, and have you guys seen Jerry Lawson from Abilene Christian?
I did. I haven't dug into that. I did see the tweet.
Yeah, I had not seen it till just now, but I've been out at dinner. From
Abilene
Christian, D lineman, 65 tackles, 14 tackles for loss, 5.5 sacks this season.
I mean, I get going
Abilene
after
Christian.
kids. I get it, like going after these kids and like lower conferences, but we're going to have to really start going on some power.
I was gonna say the big thing with me, like we said earlier, he's a sophomore this year.
Yeah.
So
I don't mind these kind of pickups, honestly.
Well,
I feel like
did y'all see who was staying on this trend? Did y'all see who was visiting coming up? McGavick confirmed it. The Ball State wide receiver, his name slipped my mind, but he's 6'5", and in 4 games this year had 380 yards and 4 touchdowns. So he's also visiting the school up the road along with Cincinnati, out of Ball State wide receiver.
Justin Bowick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and I was going to ask y'all this, is we have seen a trend here, especially early in this cycle, with the group of 5 players getting visits early. As we move closer to that quote-unquote salary cap, are you going to see more of a shift in going to a really good group of 5 player and possibly coming out of that with not maybe spending as much of your allotted NIL money compared to, say, a 1-year guy out of a Power 4 program who maybe you may have to pay more to get, but you may get, more longevity out of a group of 5 player with maybe not as much skill as a 1-year guy out of a Power 4 program. Like, are you going to see that trend more as we get into the salary cap era?
I think you could. It's the best part about football here. There's so many different approaches to how this is going to go about. I don't think that's a bad approach at all. I don't know, exactly what.
Yeah.
It all depends. What I will say about, so we've been in on a lot. That's not shocking at all. Sorry.
just a little deep dive.
Yeah.
Sorry, that makes a lot of sense. The reason that I think you're seeing Louisville target a lot of group of 5 players currently this week is they are going after guys that they know they can lock down with very little financial backing, if that makes sense. So, because really once you get your quarterback, then things are going to really start to fall into place.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, well, while you're recruiting your QB, let's get the pieces we know we can get right now. So we're not in a situation a week from now where we're having to, overbid on a G5 guy with a hungry, absolutely needs.
Stellato, he was on campus today, or is that tomorrow?
Today.
Okay.
And
tomorrow, yeah.
But yeah, that's just, yeah. You guys want to do deflections now? People leave.
Yeah.
Sorry, that popped up, so I wanted opinions because I hadn't seen it.
Yeah.
And there is one that hasn't been public yet, but are we going to go in there?
Yeah, I'll just go ahead and say it. Jared Dawson's leaving the program. He's I think he's already entered the transfer portal, if I'm not mistaken. But
Sucks.
The exact words I got is he's going in. Sucks. I'll come out and say it. I think he might have been overestimating his market value. Just a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit.
But and it's a story with a lot of these guys where, they think they hear all these times, oh, you can make X amount here, you can make X amount there. That doesn't equate to your market value. I know there's a story from one guy in particular, somewhat involved with Louisville. He was playing at his current school. He was making $100,000. Halfway through the season, he heard that a different school would pay him $300,000. So the day the transfer portal opened last year, he entered the transfer portal, and he hit up that school's collective and said, "Hey, I'm ready to come for $300,000." And that school told him, "Well, actually, you're worth $80,000 to us now. You were worth $300,000 in the middle of the season."
Yeah, changes.
So, I just with a lot of these athletes, man, and I know like we hear it a lot, on the sides that we deal with. But you really you got to make sure you're making the best choice sometimes. And I hope Jared bounces somewhere. I think he will, but I don't think Jared's going to get anywhere near the money that he's asking for, because Jared was legitimately asking for like All-American level money. Jared's good at football, but I don't think he's that good at football.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
and we'll miss him for sure. I mean,
it's a situation you want to keep the kid here as much as possible, but he seems like he's made up his mind. So good luck, man.
Let's do hypotheticals. Uploaded. I see your comment. We will get to that right after we finish out. Guys entering the transfer portal from Louisville. Let me pull this back up.
The second one though.
Yeah, we can go in second.
Yeah, Jamar Johnson.
Yeah. It sucks.
Yeah.
Sucks.
That really hurt. I'm sure it hurt everybody, but man, that just really hurt.
Yeah. It's one I don't like to see. It's the one, and I don't mean this offensively to anyone that's entered the portal so far from Louisville, because I wish them all the best of luck. But it's the first one where it's like, man, that one hurts.
It's tough.
Yeah, that's the first one that really kind of got that gut punch from. Like when Mason entered, obviously it sucked, but it wasn't the same feeling as Jamari. And
yeah.
I think we got to be careful how we approach this now, but you really hope that does not come back to bite you.
That's what I'm afraid of.
In a couple weeks. You really hope that doesn't come back to bite you.
Yeah. And from my understanding of the situation, it wasn't a money thing. It wasn't a playing time thing. It wasn't anything like that. Just kid wanted to move closer to home. Is what I heard.
That's one of those things that, we've talked about it time and time again. We talked about it with, Riger pretty in depth, but that's a big thing. Like a lot of these guys, especially, Jamari's still young. He's 19, 20,
something like that.
This is, literally moved all the way across the country. Kids, some people, like I travel for work, so like I'm used to being away from home and stuff, and like it doesn't bother me. But a lot of these kids that travel across the country, this is the first time that they're actually like gone, and they're like, I miss mom and pops. I miss my sister that annoys the shit out of me.
Yeah.
If they can see them once a week or once every other week, that's a big deal to them. So I get it.
Yeah, it's I'll just keep saying it. Like from my understanding, like Louisville, we did just about everything we could there, and it's one of those ones. It's like, what can you do in that situation?
And he's a California kid, right? Like he's from California.
Yeah.
So it would not surprise me if he went to a California school, Washington or Oregon or something. So
I don't want to confirm. I haven't not seen this but once, but I did see where there was a thread where someone had mentioned that he was already crystal ball. I'm not going to say the school, but he was crystal ball to a school. I have not seen anything else about that. So it'd be interesting to see how that transpires. Yeah. So you said it. I mean, yeah.
Well, if y'all remember his recruitment, it was basically between us and Oregon. Like he was going to commit to us, and Oregon made a strong push to get him, but he committed to us. So it would not surprise me if it was Oregon.
Yeah. So, wish the kid the best of luck. But
that one's done.
I mean,
but also it hurt too because he got, what was it, the Miami game he got hurt in? Was it Miami or was it?
Yeah, I think it was Miami.
I think it was Miami game, and that he was out for the rest of the season. So here we are thinking, all right, well, we're going to get him back, and then he's gone.
Yeah.
So, but hey, I wish the guy luck, man.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got pure pro potential, dude. Like
100%. I mean, super athletic. Like, I mean, it's one of those that, because when we first posted it, I think somebody commented on it and was like, that's not a big loss or something. Because I was like, big loss, and I was like,
yeah,
I'm not even responding to that.
No, I'm not acknowledging that crap. No.
We don't beat Virginia without him. Just saying.
No, absolutely not, man.
Valid.
That's the biggest touchdown we had this year, or one of them anyway.
Bouncing back to, because kind of forgot it. Opt-outs, of course, Corey Brooks. Don't have to spend nearly as much time on him because I think we all know that pro, like he's going to be on Sundays. Fairly certain Tyler will be too. It sucks. That's a major weapon, but
and Ja'Cory wasn't healthy in the Kentucky game. I mean, he wasn't.
Yeah.
So
I didn't even know that until after I heard after the game. I was like, man, where's Ja'Cory? Why is they passing it to him? They're like, yeah, he's hurt.
Yeah, I don't think he played at all in the second half. But
it gives him time to it gives him time to recover, regroup, and start.
Is he invited to or accepted the Senior Bowl?
No, he's
Which
playing
one was it?
Shriner Bowl.
The Reese's.
Oh, is he going Shriner?
Shriner. Yeah, he's playing the Shriner.
Oh, okay. I
thought he was invited to, or was he invited to both?
I know Shuck was invited to both.
I don't know if he ever got a Senior Bowl invite.
Really?
I didn't see it come across my feed. I know for sure he's playing in the Shriner. I don't know if he ever got it though.
Because Shuck got both, right?
Sure. I know he's playing. I know he's playing in Mobile. I mean, I don't. Sure.
Which one is it that underclassmen can play in it? Which one is it?
The Shriner.
Is it the?
Well, no. So the Senior Bowl did make a change to that this year. The Senior Bowl is allowing juniors this year.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I thought I read something about it.
I don't know how much y'all have looked at this yet, but if you look at this upcoming draft class for quarterbacks, if Tyler performs well, I think you could see some movement there. Like I think come draft time, you could see him skyrocket. Like I'm not going to say he's going to go first round. That's too much of a high expectation, but you could see draft boards. You could see his name start to move up as we get closer to the draft. Like you don't know what Ewers is going to do, but as a whole, like this quarterback draft class isn't very deep. And I think Tyler certainly has the ability to move up that board quickly. Sorry,
I'm on my phone, by the way, so much. I'm trying to confirm.
You got news coming, so hopefully. So
I'm trying to confirm a few things right now.
Yeah, it's that time of year. Like, that's what it goes back to earlier. Like, I know we've heard a lot of different things today. We've heard a lot of different things today. Everybody's on edge. Like, we got the commit. Hopefully, there's another one here any minute or tomorrow morning. It's a big weekend. Like, it's a big, big weekend. And I think the staff's done a good job so far. I think next week, this time, I think we'll have a better feel for things of where we're at. And earlier today, like I put out a tweet asking people what they wanted to see. And a lot of people chimed in, and it was a lot of offense, defensive line. We need to replenish the defensive line. We need to replenish the offensive line. There was a lot of that out there from the fan base. There was obviously secondary. I mean, a lot of the things that we've talked about the last couple of weeks, people want to see. And I think I think how you judge a portal class, and let's be honest, I think you get a big feel from the fan base on what they want. Because I'm always curious there. What do fans will see, and how do they think they can be better, right? Mm-hmm. And take rankings out of that. Take class rankings out of the discussion. And how does the fan base feel come February about the class? And I feel like if we're going to get back into that ACC championship discussion next year, which we can, I think you're starting down that right path. You're going down that right path. Obviously, quarterback's your first big piece. We don't have an answer yet, but you're starting to fill in the places around him on the offensive side of the ball. You got a linebacker. You're going to slowly start to see, the plan develop. And it's baby steps. This is a baby step process. Don't forget, you're also planning for a bowl game in just over 2 weeks. So there's a lot going on. But it's hard. It's hard to kind of get this thing kicked off. You know what I mean? Like it takes time to get him here, get him committed, and move forward. And I think as we get into next week, you're going to really see the momentum really start to roll.
Yeah. So yeah, that's.
I agree.
Yeah. Sorry.
There's so much, and that's like it's kind of chaos right now. Trying to keep.
Oh,
up
it's
with everything
absolute
with it.
chaos, baby.
Yeah, like but seeing transfer portal opt-outs, opt-ins. We just got. I feel like I'm just now recovering from, all the high school recruiting, and then high school recruiting really starts big again in 2 weeks, and it's almost just genuine chaos right now. But yeah, and that's not just chaos for us. Like it's chaos on a tenfold for coaches and staff and everything. So
so this is a prime example on why I don't think that this model that we're using right now is going to really live very much longer.
Yeah.
It's way too much going on in the span of 3 weeks, and it's too much on the kids, the agents, the schools, the coaches. I mean, there's generally no one that likes this model. I mean, you got conference championships, bowls, playoff, transfer portal, high school early signing day. Like it's way too much.
And we can poke fun of and jack and talk shit to these coaches that are essentially retiring from the career because they're like, this isn't what I signed up for, this isn't I don't enjoy it anymore. We can make fun of them all day long, but at the end of the day, it is like it is genuinely a true different sport right now. It's, I almost want to say the NFL, but more chaotic, because at least the NFL, the free agency, like everyone has an agent for the most part. 99.99% of players have agents. So you've at least got that. Whereas like here in college, like you're dealing with like some players have agents. I feel, I lean to the point that majority don't. So you've got like self-representation or parents representing them, which clouds a lot of, that area, because, say hypothetically, say you have a player that's coming on a visit to Louisville. Well, if they're self-represented, and, someone's there not, essentially able to give them, proper guidance. And we talked with, BZ Sports Management on this, that world of theirs can get very clouded. They can start hearing things from other players and other, schools, blah, blah, blah. So I think that's the biggest thing. Like, I think if you're going to, I think you almost, I don't know how you implement it, but I think you almost have to implement like something like, I don't know if it's the right thing, but like not force them, but like you're required to have an agent or this or that, or like, if schools are maybe required to have someone on staff to, assist with it. I don't know the fix to it.
GM.
So the problem being, and I don't mean to cut you off, you can't force, in my perfect world, if I'm the king of college football, every single player is going to have an agent, and every single agent is going to go through a similar process that the NFLPA makes their agents go through, an accreditation process.
Hey, can we get a breaking news?
Is it time?
Don't.
We got a Brady bomb.
Brady bomb? Uh-oh.
Yep. So, just now.
Okay.
Just got it.
Thank
Hopefully
you.
safe.
I'm confused. What was the I okay.
So yeah, sorry. Mine's going a million different places right now.
Yeah, I understand.
Mine too. I'm talking to 4 people.
Yeah. No,
right.
So like in my perfect world, I would say every single athlete has an agent. Every single athlete or agent goes through some sort of an accreditation process. But you can't do that because that would require collective bargaining and a players union, and that's not coming to college athletics. Neither one of those things. But I'm seeing a lot of people ask in the comments. We've been on for about an hour. I don't know if any of us have mentioned Miller Moss. Do you guys want
Were
to?
you saying a Brady bomb before we get on that?
Is it out yet?
Just got the notification 2 hours ago. My bad, guys.
Oh,
My bad.
Jesus Christ.
Oh,
Yeah. Okay.
oh,
That's Brad for you.
Scared the hell out of me.
there you go, Brad. All
But
right.
it could still happen any minute. So
Yeah, I would be very surprised if he didn't get a commitment tonight. An additional one.
Lee called you out, Brad. He said the only Brady bomb I'm seeing is from 2 hours ago.
yeah, Twitter does that and it drives me crazy. So
It'll do
bad.
it to me. Like it'll pop up and it'll be like blah blah blah, and I'll look at it and it's like 4 hours old. And I'm like,
Miller Moss.
yeah, let's dive into Miller Moss.
All right, let's get on to the middle. I think that's what everybody's waiting for. So
Yeah. So we're only going to speak in truths here.
Yeah.
Visit started today. I haven't heard anything bad, which is a good thing.
Always a good thing.
Did his workouts today. Negotiations started today. And I believe they're out to dinner right now. That's okay.
We had a question earlier. I know we skipped over it or whatever, but where is it?
I've got.
If we don't get Moss, who would be the number 2? The only one I know of is Brownie from that's the only other quarterback I've seen is the Purdue kid.
I'm a Mendoza fan.
Me too, but we're not.
I know.
Trust me, I'm on the Mendoza train all the way, but it's not looking like we're going to have, much of a shot with him. So,
do you guys want to hear something scary?
Good scary or bad scary?
I do not think there is a number 2 in their mind.
Well, if we don't get Moss, that's going to be a bad sign. So, but that's only been linked to us with another quarterback besides Miller.
Yeah,
Moss.
it was just the Purdue kid, which I mean, he has decent tape, but he's, with all due respect to him, he's not a Power 4 starter right now. Maybe a few years down the road, but
I mean, Calandria, but he's already setting up visits at other places.
Yeah,
so I think we're pulled off on him, but
I would probably say Calandria, honestly, or Veltkamp. Isn't he in the portal again?
Yeah,
he is.
Yeah.
Maybe
that's who I would go for.
I would go.
When he just named Conference USA like Player of the Year or something, or something like that.
Player of the Year, I think.
Yeah, Offensive Player of the Year. I thought I seen something. Yeah, Velkamp was Offensive Player of the Year.
He's a good quarterback.
Very good. I'd say that like the number 2.
Young, though. Yeah, he's a sophomore too.
Yeah.
So I think that might ruffle some feathers. Maybe just getting. Fuck.
But yeah.
Anywho.
Yeah. So I think hopefully they get it done. I think they do. I still think they do. I'm so sorry, my phone is.
Oh, I get it.
I think they still do. I think they get it done. From my understanding, they got a strong NIL deal ready to go for this. It just makes sense playing wise. It makes sense. Absolutely everything. Who committed to Florida State?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Castellanos.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I didn't even hear the word Castellanos, so I was.
There was some confusion because we mentioned Calandria from Virginia, Thomas Castellanos committed. And unless I missed something, I don't think I did, but I don't think they've signed 2 quarterbacks. But
no.
You know who would be a really good second option?
Did he come from a school in the state of Alabama?
No, Pierce Clark.
Jalen Milroe. Oh.
I mean,
at some point you got to play the kid.
You do.
How about viewers?
I was about to say that.
I
The thing-
texted y'all that earlier. I mean,
He's not in the portal.
he's not in the portal.
He will be.
Yeah.
From what I was reading today, like NFL, essentially everyone in the NFL circle is saying that he needs another year. The thing, and just really quick, this is my take. I would love to hear your opinion on it. The thing with Quinn Ewers, like Texas has already said that they want to move on to
Arch
Manning. So I think that's the right decision. So if he does go in the portal, I think what he would want to command NIL wise, I don't think you would see it.
That and the thing that's going to hurt Ewers the most is the timing.
Absolutely.
That's the thing with the playoff, man. The portal closes before the playoffs or the second round. The week the second round starts is when the portal closes. So,
And I don't really agree with that.
I don't either. You've got to figure this out. You've
And the money's going to be dried up too. So,
well, yeah, because like think if Ewers entered the portal this week, I mean, any and everybody that needed a quarterback would be pursuing him. And on top of that, he would get his fair market value. I mean, you could see there could be a school somewhere like, a Missouri, for example. Missouri, they swing and miss on, 3 quarterbacks. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but let's say that it does. And then by the time that Ewers is able to enter the portal, here's Ewers. And hey, Ewers, instead of you being evaluated at, $1 million plus, well, we only got $400,000 to work with, and we're your best option. So you're only getting $400,000.
And that's kind of where I was going. Like, I don't see him being able to get what. And here's the thing: what he would want, and honestly, because he's played well, what he would command, I don't see him getting it. Just because timing, and like I said, I still see it. But I also don't think that's a reason to go run and jump. If you can make $500K and play another year of football, I don't think that's a reason just to jump in the NFL prematurely.
Yeah,
So,
and I'm just throwing numbers out there, by the way. I don't know actual.
Yeah.
well, something I did read is if Ewers did hit the portal and, decide to come back for another year, like they said the numbers was going to be like $3 or $4 million.
I don't see that happening. I don't see that happening at all.
Especially that late
His
in the
NFL
game.
quarterback's not
Yes,
making that.
exactly.
Yeah.
The money's going to be dried up.
Yeah, if it falls the way we think it might, like that's late in the game. Like I don't know. Like they've got to do something though.
What's going to really suck with that Ewers situation, and I don't mean to get too tunnel vision on this, is let's say 3 weeks from now, there's not a team that needs a quarterback that desperately. So there's going to be a team out there, and they're going to look at their quarterback situation and say, okay, cool. We have a decent quarterback situation, but Quentin Ewers is better than what we currently have. So we're going to bring him in. And then you have a quality power 4 starting quarterback that's going to essentially be a backup that could have had the opportunity into the transfer portal and continue to be that. It's a messed up.
It's creating toxicity throughout the.
It is.
Yeah. So, but yeah, back on the Miller Mouse thing.
Yeah.
From someone I literally just reached out to and talked to, said that they'd look for him to make his decision between us and Missouri by the end of the weekend. So hopefully we know soon.
Yeah, I just, obviously I'm going to say the same thing that Missouri people were saying yesterday, which is kind of funny. You would have liked for him to make his decision while he was here on campus, obviously.
Sounds like he has a good agent.
It does. Sounds like he has a very good agent.
Very good agent. Yeah.
Because that's what we want, but that's not what him and his agent want.
It is not.
If he can have a weekend, exactly. If he can have a weekend to actually mull it over and maybe get a little counter offer here and there.
Yep.
Or a couple counter offers here and there.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see.
Sorry, no crazy news. Trying.
No crazy updates.
I mean, I wish I could have been like.
Trust me, we are digging and digging.
Cracking open. Yeah, I wish I could have just pulled one of these Miller Lights up and cracked it. But
again,
I have a Miller. It's Miller time shirt.
It is
I have a hat.
This recruitment has been so fascinating to me. Because it's very obvious that he has very good representation because nothing is getting out.
Yeah.
No.
Well, I mean, that's what you want. I mean, that's what
I
I
mean,
want.
The stuff that we're pulling, like we're clawing and scratching for like the most meaningless statements from
Man.
people in the industry.
My deep solid source, my deep solid. I've had to text him today like 10 times to like get anything, and it's always just like no, we'll see. And I'm like, come on, man, you ain't got nothing.
Well, that's the only reason I like what I just shared. Like, I reached out and luckily messaged back pretty quick because I at least wanted something to say on here. Something, and yeah, I mean it was, it's nothing crazy, but at least we can say that they're at least predicting that it'll be this weekend by the end of the weekend.
What I will say, if you do whiff on this, it is not the end of the world. Is it a major roadblock? Absolutely. If you do, though, you can find your bits and pieces, if that makes sense.
Well,
Everybody's on edge. Like,
oh yeah,
it's
I will say,
important. Like, it's big. I think times like this is, if it works out, the fan base is going to be really, really happy. If it doesn't, that Stanford loss is going to come back around. That sting is going to come back out. It's just a part of the game.
It will.
I will say this: y'all already know I'm not the biggest Miller Moss guy by any means. So, and the thing is, I am on edge just a tad. I'm not even for Miller Moss. Like, I wanted Mendoza, but he don't want to come to us. So, but I will say let's just give it a little time. If he comes here, he comes here. If not, I trust Brom on whoever quarterback he brings in. That's all I'm going to say.
Exactly. You got to trust Jeff Brom. I mean, he's done it. I mean, he knows what he's doing.
Yep.
I would say. Sorry, you go first, Max.
You're going to have you're actually in a position very, very soon to see what is in the stable for Louisville football at the quarterback position. Because I'm in the chair that I think you see both play. I think you see one play majority of the snaps, but I think you're going to see Pierce and Deuce both play. Because you can go practice all day long. We know this. You can practice all day long, and it's never going to compare to actually in game. And you're not going to be able to. And I'm not even saying like how you play, how you throw the ball, blah blah blah. But things like your composure. When you throw a pick in a legitimate game, that stuff is major, and you don't get that in spring practice. You don't get that in fall camp. You don't get that ever. Unless you are at.
Bill Moss is at the volleyball game.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Dude.
That's cool. Hell yeah.
Beautiful.
I need to see a picture.
I do too.
I'm sure there'll be one soon.
I'm hearing he's at dinner, and now I'm hearing he's at the volleyball game.
Yeah.
So.
Well, dinner, it's 9:30. He probably done with dinner.
It was at
Hey,
dinner.
I've had plenty of late dinners.
It was at dinner at hour. It's hard to get reservations. My thing. I'm sorry. I'm trying to very carefully use my words here.
Can I add to that?
Yes.
Oh God, I got to close out of that before I share my screen. Oh God.
Uh-oh. Don't want to be sharing everybody your
I know.
business.
It wasn't my business. It was just shut some shit down really quick.
I'll shoot volleyball game too, right?
So that we're not quote unquote stealing anything. He's there with Chris Bell and Colin Lasik.
Is he really?
That's what Jody said.
Oh, dude, he's there with a.
Hey, look, Josh, that's the info you're stealing from. Oh, Jody.
So to me, that might answer a question we kind of spoke on the other day about some Bell. If Bell plans on staying or going, I would I'd say that's a
Well,
positive sign.
I will say this recruitment is going to be very tight. It's going to be very tight.
It's already tight. What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
If theoretical question here,
What's that?
what value would you put on Miller Moss?
What value?
I refuse to do this hypothetical because
That's tough.
the NIL market does not make sense to me.
Not NIL on like a scale. So value on a scale of 1 to 10 for the success of next year's football team. What value do you put on Miller Moss? You won't do the numbers game, but on a scale of 1 to 10.
You guys go ahead because mine's long. I have to explain my shit.
You're talking about on like an importance level?
Yes, importance. Yeah.
I would go 7. I think that's fair. 7. I don't want to overshoot the bar. I don't want to go too high because I think we're going to have a good football team next year. But I think I say 7 because if you can finish this, if you can get him on campus, to play football, I think he could be a difference maker from a 8-win team to a 10-win team. I think he's that good. I think he's that big piece that can get you back into that Charlotte discussion.
What about you, Wes?
I'm not ignoring the chat real quick. I'm going to get to that as soon as we get done with these questions.
On a scale of 1 to 10,
mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm going to say an 8, 8.5 for sure. I mean, it's a big deal. But I'm not big on Miller Moss anyway. So, but the quarterback spot is very important. So,
I think there are other position groups that are more important right now, but Miller Moss is big. I mean, let's not downplay this.
So your question is how important his commitment is, essentially? Like how important is it for him to commit?
Yeah, on a scale of 1 to 10, how important is Miller Moss in next year?
Super really hard to answer, in my opinion, because we are in a position where we don't know where our 2 highly touted underclassmen quarterbacks are in development. You don't know, Deuce and Pierce both were phenomenal in high school. And we don't know. We haven't seen them. So it's hard to be able to, and I guess that would lead me more to, I think it is important. So, I mean, if I have to put it on, I'm probably going to be like 7.5 to an 8 in that ballpark. I'm going to kind of.
Yeah, it's hard, man. But the QB position is very, very important.
Yes, which kind of leads, I think, really well into this question. Josh, were you just looking for answers, or do you have an answer too?
I do have an answer. Give me like 1 second, though. Give me like 1 second.
Okay.
I'll say this. I think there's a for the same question for a guy like Monroe Mills, because it seems like it's up in the air on whether he's going to go pro or come back, rightfully so. If you were to ask the same question about him, like how important that would be, I would go full on 10 on a player like that. I think if he comes back, you are going to be exceptionally well on the offensive line. But if he goes pro, obviously he deserves that. But, there's nobody knows what he's going to fully decide to do yet. So that's something else to watch. I think you can ask that same question, about different position groups for the team next year. And I think a guy like Monroe Mills is a good example to use for that same question. I think if he comes back, man, you could be really, really good again up front.
I know how important, so I'm going to answer this 2 ways. Okay. I'm going to tell you my personal answer first. My personal answer, I put it at a 9. I think player like Miller Moss takes you exactly similar to what Brad says, from an 8-win team to a 10 or 11-win team. I think he has all the tools to really succeed in this offense. I think you can build a very good offense around him. I think you can really run whatever you really want to run, and it'll be very well. If it were up to me, you'd spend a lot of money on this kid to get it done. Now, from what I know, the people around the program have it at a 10. So, full disclosure here, the first time I ever heard Miller Moss as like a actual like realistic option, I kind of the name was thrown out a little bit back in November when he was originally kind of they put the word out that he was in test training. The name was floated around some. I heard realistically as an option. I believe it was in Pennsylvania, so I guess it was last Monday. Whenever the day after he announced intention to answer the transfer portal, but he didn't transfer. I heard his name come up. And the exact words that I heard after, well, I'll tell you. So it went like this. I was like, on the phone with someone who goes, "Hey, Josh, what do you think of this Miller Moss kid?" And I was like, I don't know. He was pretty good. And I was told, yeah, he goes, "I think we can win a national championship with him." That's exactly.
Your mic's cutting out.
Is
Yeah,
it?
your mic's cutting in and out.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Is it still doing it?
No, you're good now.
Not right
Once you get
now.
closer.
Okay. All right. I had an individual tell me this Miller Moss kid, he's national championship. If someone sees this, hey, what's up? Sorry, giving you away. But yeah, I think he's extremely important to U of L, and I think that they feel very, very strongly about his ability to play in this offense and what they can do with him. I think they are going to do just about anything in their power to get this kid.
Say that we don't get the kid. What would you think of Preston Stone from SMU in Jeff?
I like Preston Stone.
I do too.
Except for the reason that it looks like he's seeing Ghost every single Saturday. If he can get over the yips, he seems like he's pretty good.
Hey, let's not forget. Let's not forget he came in against us and threw a touchdown pass. So
yeah,
but everybody was. So
yeah, we get a sports psychologist in here. We can cure all the ailments, man.
I do want to get some of these chats real quick.
Yeah, let's get to the comments.
Let's do it.
Anthony, this going back to him being at the volleyball game with Chris Bell and Colin Lacey. It's a good sign. I like that he's there with those two specifically because I think Chris sticks around Louisville.
Especially Colin Lacey, dude.
And I was gonna say, but Colin Lacey, who has already made such a big deal that he is sticking around in Louisville. I can't think of two people on the team that I would rather him be there with.
Yeah.
My personal opinion. Because Chris Bell is probably, Josh is going to disagree with this probably, but Chris Bell is probably one of your top three. I mean, I don't even think it's probably. He's one of your top three targets next year.
Did we talk about Chris Bell on Tuesday?
We did not.
No, we did not.
Okay, good. Okay.
But I believe Chris stays.
Okay.
And what?
Nothing.
I just had a conversation about Chris, so that's what.
No. I was just I couldn't remember if we talked about him on Tuesday.
I thought we did, but I thought we brought up that I hope he doesn't transfer, but I could see the possibility.
Well, I mean, we might have said something like that, but we didn't have a full blown conversation or a huge topic about him. So.
Yeah. But I definitely want to get to this one. This is referring to the bowl game. What if Pierce plays well and then they get us?
That would be a good problem to have.
We're already getting into this conversation.
Yeah.
I had to go back. I wanted to wait on that one. I had to go back to that one because that is Brad said it's a good problem to have, but I think at that point in time, someone leaves in the spring. I mean, I think that's just the most realistic option. And I don't think it's Deuce.
Yeah, that's a hard conversation to have.
Yeah, I think.
By the way, I just want to put this out there. I think Pierce does ball out whenever he gets to play in the Sun Bowl. Because I can tell you personally,
I think both of them do.
Yeah, I can tell you personally though, Pierce playing with a fucking chip on his shoulder.
I could imagine.
Yeah,
because and this isn't at the staff. It's just been with the NIL and the way it is, like him coming in right on like the coattails of NIL.
Yeah.
And the coattails of a brand new coaching staff and like so much. I think that, it's just kind of shitty timing to bring in like a highly touted quarterback out of high school to when you're literally like in a position where you have to go to the portal and get quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I tell you what, this Anthony guy, he sure does love Monroe Mills. I tell you that much. I throw a nice bag at Mills, Monroe Mills.
It's okay.
We talked about Monroe Tuesday, I believe.
Yeah.
So is he done after this year, or does he have another year?
He has a year of eligibility. He did walk at senior day. Last thing I really saw was on I think it was on Jody's board, was there was some decisions that had to be made. So that's the last thing I heard or saw. And it wasn't from Jody himself. It was from one of the other writers, I'm pretty sure. But we'll see. I mean, I personally, I think he goes pro. I think he
deserves to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But selfishly, I would love for him to come back.
Oh yeah, me too. We all would. He was our best lineman, and he was hurt. So
yeah.
Lee makes a great point. I'm sorry, Josh, but
no, you're good.
He says, I think I'm more concerned about Moss not coming, is that it also sets you back with others in the portal. You seem to be waiting for that shoe to drop before others hit. He makes a 100%. Point.
It is.
He makes a solid point. And
it's a conversation that if Moss were to not come, and I'm not saying we're leaning one way or the other, by the way. That's not the vibe I'm trying to give off. Because I still feel fairly confident in Louisville's ability to get Moss. If you don't get Moss, though, you have a lot of questions to ask about your transfer portal strategy or answer.
Well, recruiting, period.
Yeah, it becomes a very difficult conversation very, very quickly. Because while you were good in the portal last year, there were still some major, major hiccups.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it that carried it was we went to the ACC championship last year. That's a big recruiting thing right there. It's like, hey, we just needed this, and this. We can get back there, next year. Well, we only won 8 games this year. So it's it doesn't hold as much weight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think that does hurt a tad. You basically told these guys, hey, we're trying to go back to the ACC championship, go back to Charlotte, and you lost 4 games. So I don't know. That's just my opinion. I could be totally wrong, but.
No, yeah. I mean, yeah. Sorry. You go, Max.
I was going to say, going to any conference championship, I mean, yeah, that's a momentum that, I mean, is really unmatched other than going to the college football playoffs. That was about the only, going there, and granted, losing, not great, but you can at least say, you're at least telling kids, that's part of your spill is, we're coming off a conference championship, appearance. So,
well, if you want to help those chances, get rid of Ron English. Anyway, I'm just going, but that's all I'm going to say.
And that's a tough topic, as we have debated before, because Josh brought up a good point on one of our previous shows. It's a lot deeper than just one person.
Well, I meant, you know what I meant.
Yeah, exactly. Trust me, Wes. You know I've agreed with you all year.
Well, the past how long?
Yeah,
Brian Brown and all those. But anyway.
yeah. So, but going back to what Josh said about how you approach the portal, if this recruitment does not go your way, again, you're gonna see a lot of the fan base, that toxicity we saw after the Stanford game, that's going to come back. That, especially if you pile on top of it a bowl loss, if that were to happen, it's going to be horrible. You would have thought we never beat Kentucky. You would have thought we never beat Clemson. You would have thought we went 2-10. Like, there's a lot that comes from this particular recruitment, and it's extremely important. I think, going back to what you asked earlier, I think more so the staff sealing this is that part of it's a 10. That, if that makes sense. I think that part of it for the team next year is a 10. I mean, you've got to finish this one. You've got to get this one and move forward, fill out the roster, put together a championship team. We've heard for 3 years, how, well off we are as an NIL collection. And these are the times where you step up and you prove that.
You got to use the money.
You've got to use it. Why else do you have it? Make it happen. Let's go field a championship team and let's go get it done. Like, we have a great collective. Let's see it. Let's go out there and get one of the top players in the portal. Let's see it.
Can I say something here? And I don't mean to upset anyone.
Hey, it's always open.
Trust your collective.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And that's the other thing. Like, this collective has been – you've seen all the negativity about collectives across the country. And every special guest that we have had on, whether it was an agent, whoever it was, every single one of them had nothing but positive things to say about the 502 Circle. They all said they were extremely trustworthy. They all said that they're the good guys, basically. So selfishly though, let's see it. Let's get it done. Like, I've been stressed out over this all day. I want to have this done. I want to celebrate this.
You want to crack open a Miller Lite, don't you?
Well, something. I just want to get this done. And that's where, we're all on edge. I know Josh has had a lot of phone calls today trying to, provide content for everybody watching. Like,
he's been all over the place, dude.
Yeah, like Josh has been making some calls today. So and the way I see it, like, we don't know. I mean, we just don't know. And we don't want to put out a false hope. We don't want to put out on any lies. Like, we don't know how this is going to go. And we hope it ends well.
I just want to point out today, I was speaking to someone, and they thought I was an agent representative. And I was like, no, I'm not. Like, they're like, oh, I was like,
just a dude on a podcast.
Just a dude with a podcast. That
I'm just a dude that has a computer in front of me.
Yeah, I'm like, I just like info.
I make funny faces and all that cute stuff. But anyway.
Yeah, so I will say one thing, man, because you brought it up with me, like, trying to look for info today. So this whole Miller Moss recruitment is very volatile, and it is legitimately a 6-hour news cycle. So I personally am trying to be extremely careful about the content that I put out about it. And I think there's a lot of other people like me on both the Louisville and the Missouri side of the house, except for Pete Nakos. He's just putting everything out there.
That's his job, though.
Like,
his job is to put every piece of
He was, like, putting
information.
in predictions for Louisville, like, earlier this week while these kids on this new visit. And I'm like, oh, okay, Pete, sure. Like, but, there has been it's been very devoid of a lot of the typical, perspective you get on these sort of recruiting battles. And I think that is just because everyone's trying to be very careful.
Yeah. And I mean, Josh, you haven't don't really give predictions. You let things play out, which I think speaks to, you verifying your information. You do a great job at that. And this recruitment, especially as we've seen the last, few days, any recruitment, things can change at the blink of an eye. So, credit to you. I mean, you have stayed on top of this one, and you're just like us. You're just waiting to see what happens. I mean, you haven't given a prediction before anybody comes on and says Josh gave a prediction. He has not given a prediction as to where Miller Moss will go, and he has played this as close to the chest as he possibly can.
Well, because the thing is, you saw it last night and into this morning with the Max Clear thing.
We saw it this morning.
With the Max Clear thing. I mean, I'll say I spoke to A&P last night. They're like, yeah, he's coming to Louisville. I was like, oh, cool.
Even NACO said it.
Yeah, and then I woke up this morning to a text from the Louisville guy, and he's like, yeah, he's not coming to Louisville anymore. I was like, oh, why? He's like, because $55,000. I was like, okay, cool. That makes sense. And that's just it's the business now, man. It's the business. Yeah. There is always someone willing to pay you more money.
You can never out money
no
infinite money at some places.
Yeah. And which I feel like, especially if you're a longtime subscriber to the page, and if you go back and you watch some of our stuff over the past few months with different people in the industry that we've done, you can see why we think the way that we do based off the conversations that we've had on camera. It's just there's always someone willing to pay more money. That's just how you have to work in this business.
You guys want to wrap this up?
Got a couple more questions, and then somebody asked, and you guys know I couldn't just let this slide by.
Yeah.
But how good is the Mims kid?
Oh my God.
I happen to think, and I might get different opinions from others, I happen to think Mason Mims is extremely good. He absolutely killed it on his camp visits and stuff this year. Did every single thing right. This is just a couple clips from beginning of the season. But everything that I seen of him this year, I mean, he's got high football IQ. He, for his age, has power to get it out. I feel like he reads really well, right there. I feel like he reads better than most his age. So I don't know y'all's opinion.
So I spoke to, I guess this was last spring. I spoke to an Elite 11 scout. I believe it was from the Oxford Elite 11, so May maybe. And I was told flat out he had the best throwing motion in Elite 11.
Yeah.
For that specific Elite 11 camp. The kid he could be a special one, man. He could be very, very special.
Actually, and I don't mean to drag this out.
I was talking to a good friend of mine today. Big Louisville guy. Spends a lot of money for the University of Louisville. And I was getting his thoughts on Mason Mims because he follows all of this. And he is very excited. And this is a person who has spent his entire life following this football program. And he is extremely excited for the future at this position, whether it's him or Deuce.
I agree. I think you have almost too talented of an underclassmen quarterback room, and that terrifies me. This is from that 11s. It's not the one that I seen earlier. Sorry. My bad.
And or go ahead, play this last one.
You're good. That's fine.
I think I don't know how many people have thought about this, but this year might be your last year you see Louisville for hopefully some time be, quarterback driven this early in the portal.
Dude, it shouldn't be a should. This will be like
right.
Should be
yeah,
set.
yeah,
it's
yeah.
getting to the point now.
This is it. This is your last year where you have to go get a portal quarterback.
And that kind of goes back. That kind of is like what I was saying with, it was kind of shitty timing with Pierce.
Yeah.
Because he came in on multiple coattails, whether that be NIL being a new thing and, new staff and needing a quarterback, right then, right there. So, yeah, I agree. I think you're in a position now. It's just who's going to hold out. This is the one I was looking for. But you were talking about throwing motion and form. He's good. In my opinion, he's good.
No, yeah, it is, dude. Like, when you
also
did his
amazing.
when you did his, oh my god, I can't speak. When you did his interview, did you get the chance to speak to his dad?
I did not. It was just him that night. It was actually supposed to be him and JT, he's a junior. He's their Oxford's #1 wide receiver. Had like 1,300 yards or something this season.
What's up, WVU, by the way? I still hate you, but play some football again.
What? Oh.
I got to get to it. I want to go to a game at West Virginia. Let's bring the game back.
No, you don't.
That's
Funny. No, you don't.
I've never been to West Virginia, so I'd actually be totally down for that.
Stay away. Hey, man, when I don't mean to get off topic.
I've been to the state of West Virginia, not the state.
I want to go to a football game there.
No,
I want to see the crowd sing Country Roads. That's why I don't want to go against Louisville. I just want to see. I want to go to just a football game there. Like, I love college football. Let's do it.
I get that. I mean, I was about to go to the Big Ten championship this past weekend, so I get that.
I mean, this guy says, I guess since you guys put WVU in your stream title, the YouTube guys decided to recommend y'all to me.
I mean, welcome. We talked really good about West Virginia.
Yeah, we brought up Rich Rod. Yeah,
I like sorry we mentioned basketball, but.
All right, let's clean up these comments.
I was trying to be nice, Brad, but anyway.
Welcome.
But welcome. That's pretty awesome.
What was this? They only won 8, but it's pretty close to winning 10 again. If not for bad couple breaks. Yeah. You talk about the ACC officials definitely played a part, but I think every one of those games that you can go back to officiating, you could have also made some changes or been a little bit more locked in certain positions, or not had your defense fumbling around like they were looking for quarters on the ground. That's not a stab at defensive players individually. That's just not being set and ready. Penalties also killed you, and like not penalties that are bullshit penalties, like stupid penalties that you like. And I keep going back to Stanford game because you're getting you're infringing upon the line in a stadium that has like 15 people in it. I played in louder football stadiums in high school. Hell, I probably played in louder high school stadiums in middle school. So, but yeah, it sucks, but it is what it is.
He told us that we need to hurry up and join the Big 12. Trust me, we want out of the ACC.
No,
we want to be in the Big 12.
That's a show for like 2 months from now.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a
March. I will get my opinion.
That is
that's a July show. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
But,
we should do the Big 12. But anyway.
I don't know. I'm still split on that because next week we'll have the same conversation about how the Big 12 sucks and nothing from that actually matters. So.
They're awful. They are awful.
Exactly. I don't want to go to a conference that's awful.
I don't want to play in a bad football conference.
I don't either. That's why I'm like, I'd rather stay in the ACC.
A whole lot better. You know what I mean? I mean, we did get 2 teams in the playoff, but
we can't say that because we not like we ran the gauntlet this year. All right. Anything else?
Anyway,
we did. Any last words, guys?
One more thing.
Let's do it.
Brad just said I don't do predictions.
Oh, Jesus.
Do you guys want to hear a prediction?
Let's do it.
I think Troy Stellato is a Louisville Cardinal.
Good.
Hey, he doesn't know who his quarterback's going to be.
So,
I'm feeling pretty good about that one.
this for everybody watching this morning, we all discovered that the once great meme of
John Stellato.
Sean Stellato, Tommy DeVito's agent, is the uncle of Troy Stellato.
Oh, is that real? I thought y'all were bullshitting.
That is a real thing.
No, yeah, that is real. Yeah, that is real. Yeah.
Do you want to hear something even scarier? Do you know who's on campus right now?
Oh, he is.
Who?
I'm pretty
Stellato.
positive Sean Stellato's on campus.
Oh, I assume he's probably his agent as well.
I was looking on his agency page so long this morning. I found he reps like 7 or 8 Clemson players, but I couldn't find anything about Troy. But I'm just like, okay, I assume if you rep so many Clemson players.
Where did he play ball with Braun? Was it
the Louisville Fire?
Okay, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Okay, Louisville Fire.
Yeah.
I'm still blown away that Sean Stellato played ball.
Well, the only reason I knew he played football with Braun was because he was on a podcast a while back, and I forgot what podcast.
Pardon my take.
He said pardon my take. And he said that he played with Jeff Braun, so it was pretty cool.
So
I just
you think
want
Stellato's a card?
Like, I just want one of the hats. Like, if we could get like one of those hats he wears all the time with like a old school Cardinal or a Heisman Bird logo on it, dude, I don't care how much it costs. I don't care. Get me one. Like, I will wear it. Even if it doesn't look good, I will wear it.
But no, like on a real thing, I do really think that Troy commits to Louisville. I'm hearing really good things on that front. He wants to be here. We want him here. You know, it seems like a match made in heaven. So,
I mean, I'm
Awesome.
down with it. I think he's a good player. I think that he could fit the system phenomenally.
Yeah.
I still need us to go out and get a high point receiver.
I
can't function without knowing that there is that high point receiver that's just going to out athlete you in every aspect of athleticism and bring a ball down. Like, I have to have that. That was Ja'Cory Brooks this year.
Yeah.
And I love that because I feel like we haven't really had somebody like that in a couple of years.
I want to watch more stuff on the kid from Ball State visiting, but some of
He could be it.
There's not a whole lot of tape out there.
That's the thing.
I've
Is
only
like
seen one clip about him. So.
Yeah, like Max, you just said it. Like, he might be that guy. Like,
It's a 6'5" receiver. Like,
and in
I
4
think a
games,
6'5" receiver right now.
in 4 games, his numbers are really good. Let's not dismiss that. I mean, almost 400 yards receiving, 4 touchdowns in 4 games. Like, that's good. And you know, he could fill that role. I mean, he's already got 3 Power 4 visits set up. So, you know, we'll see. I mean, he could fill that role.
I just had the craziest thought that's completely off topic, and I know we're all trying to get off of here. Hypothetical question. Let's say you don't get Moss, but you get Fluff Bothwell.
we're just going to run the ball 100
we just
times a
gonna
game.
Do Wildcat every play?
Not Wildcat, but like legitimately run the ball
Direct.
50 times a game. Just be Nebraska.
God, no.
Nebraska in the 90s.
No.
Be Nebraska in the 90s.
No.
We're going to have 3 900-yard running backs.
I mean, if you do that and then you have 3 900-yard running backs.
And Colin Lacey will definitely be going back to the portal. He'll be redshirting again.
I just need to point this out and preface this. This is not legitimate, I don't think, in the least bit.
Okay.
But I'm in a board that it really just discusses like transfer portal and stuff.
Okay.
And someone just brought up they just said Louisville and then put the eyes emoji and Malik Murphy.
Let's not go there. No.
And
no.
that's why I was like so enamored for a minute. I'm like,
I can't do that.
Murphy.
Put Pearson.
I thought he's going to I thought he was going to Miami or something, or looking like Miami.
I think Miami backed off that.
I'm really. I don't know. I don't know where. I don't know where to go with that. I don't think it's legitimate. I think it's just bullshitting. But that's weird. He said wishbone.
Wishbone. Yes. Yes.
That's a comment.
Josh's language right there.
Hey, you're talking Josh's language right there, man.
Yes. You're talking.
And he'll talk to you for another 2 hours about that joke. But anyway,
find me a fullback. Let's do it.
Hey, you might have one. You might have one on the roster. We don't know.
Dwayne Martin, can we please get another year? Can we just get one more year?
I would pay all of Miller Moss's NIL money for Dwayne Martin to have another year.
Good luck with that.
I would.
Make it a quote.
Can I bribe the NCAA?
You can try.
I don't think you have to bribe the NCAA too much anymore. They're pretty soft.
Well, any last thoughts, fellas?
I don't really have much.
Me
How about
either.
you? It was a stressful day, but it was not like an eventful day, content wise. Like I said, the last thing I'm gonna leave. If you're still stressed about Miller Moss, hopefully we know. Ears in rooms say that they expect to know something, yay or nay, by the end of the weekend. So it's the most beautiful thing I can give you.
Yeah.
So, and he's at the volleyball game with Chris Bell and Colin Lacey. So, and I guess I still think that's the two best people on the team for him to be hanging out with.
Yeah.
I mean, my closing thoughts. So you're going into, I think we'll talk to you again on Tuesday unless something changes, which I'm assuming we'll probably have to do a show this weekend at some point.
Yep.
I think realistically over the next few days, you're probably going to see probably 5 to 6 commitments, like realistically speaking. Like I said, Bothwell starts his visit on Saturday, right?
Sounds right.
I can't remember.
I can find out for sure after we get done with this, and if I'm able, I'll tweet it out.
I think it's tomorrow, right? Tomorrow.
Probably get here tomorrow and visit. Probably get here tomorrow, visit Saturday.
Yeah,
Sunday.
okay.
We'll just text them. We'll text them and we'll put it out there. We'll ask them. Yeah, so that's a really big one, man. Like it's really, really big. I know it's not big to Louisville, but he's a big player. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
he's really good.
Yeah,
very good running back. Very good.
Arguably one of the most slept on portal entries we've seen this year.
Very slept on. Yeah.
He's so under the radar because, let's be honest, most people do not watch South Alabama football. They just your average college football fan doesn't. But your diehards, your sickos, they know the name.
You can't watch them on Saturday though.
Yeah, they do play Saturday in a bowl game. Yeah,
Birmingham Bowl.
He will not be playing.
Veterans Bowl.
Yeah, he will not be playing. But
will though.
Gio Lopez will be. So,
it's a very big time of the year. Everyone's gonna be on pins and needles until obviously the Miller Moss thing is done. What I would just a piece of advice is don't overreact to little news because there's gonna be a lot of little news that comes out here and there, and a lot of that is news planted by people through people like me. It's kind of the way it goes. I know my role in all this, but don't overreact. It's going to be a fun portal season. Hopefully, we get it done with Miller. We'll see how that goes, and excited to watch some Jags on Saturday. Oh, one question before we get off here:
Jags.
South
Alabama.
Army or Navy? Who you taking?
Army, big.
Army.
I'm Air Force. I hope they both lose. Army. I think it's hard to.
Go
Army's
Army.
very good. They're very, very good.
They're not good for military teams. They're just good this year.
Yeah. Go Army, beat Navy.
Yeah.
All right. Well. Hopefully, at least we get a few
Basketball
days.
game Saturday.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting
It's
about
so
it.
weird still. We got a show about that tomorrow. We
Yeah.
got the people that actually know basketball better than I know I don't know basketball in the context of. I can talk about it for an hour and a half. So, all right. Well, love you
Beat
guys.
Kentucky.
Good night. Beat Kentucky as always. It's
Yeah.
Beat Kentucky season again. That's weird. It's weird that it's this early in the month. I'm used to this being late in the month, but other than that, we'll see you guys back maybe this weekend for
I would assume
emergency
this
shows.
I would assume weekend.
And if it's like Saturday at 11, we're probably not going to do a show because we're going to let the day play out. Just throw that out there. But we will be back regardless Tuesday, and we will talk to y'all then. But as always, go Cards.
Of course.